I had a question from a friend of mine. How do you improvise? He was wanting some tips on improvising. And he's got most of the tools, but he's stuck at a place that I remember being stuck at. Now, in my experience of going to music school at South Plains College, country bluegrass music, 1980, 1982, I was around a lot of very, very, very good musicians. Many of whom have gone on to become professionals and well-known names. I was not one of those. When I went to music school, I really didn't know much at all about music. I don't have anybody in my family that plays music. I really just don't have an ear for it. There's so many terms and things that took me forever to learn. I'll have a whole series. I got 5 videos on things that I learned in music school. And you really ought to go take a look at those if you want, if you want to learn something about what I learned in music school, because there's quite a bit of stuff that I learned that took years and years and years to sink in and apply. But when I went to music school, I couldn't improvise at all. I couldn't play my way out of a wet paper bag, as my instructor liked to say. I was reading tab, and I just didn't really have the ear for it, and I didn't understand how music works. So some players, a few players, sit there and they listen to the thing over and over and over and over and over, on a record, and they can pick out the notes. And for the rest of us, it's just an absolute mystery. And to me, it's a mystery. Where are these notes? How do you put them together? And I'm also a very rules-based person. Honestly, if there's a set of rules, I follow the rules. I'm incredibly civilized in that respect. So I was always really worried about the rules, of music and what sounds good and which notes sound good, because I didn't trust my ear a whole lot, So I learned some things about improvising, and when I left music school, and when I was in music school, I couldn't improvise at all. I gave a couple of examples of when I was called to take a break on a song that, on stage, the instructor, guitar break, look at me, I don't have a break prepared. So I get up there and play something, and I'm sweating bullets, and I don't have a clue. And I just remember one time at the state fair, all these people out there stuck a guitar break. This is for a grade. So you get up there, and I played something. And you know what? The crowd applauded. And I thought, it scared me. It's like, why are you guys applauding? I don't know what I'm doing. That certainly is not what I wanted to play. Okay? But as years went by, I realized that the audience does not know what it is that you want to play. The instructor called out a guitar break like it was a great big monumental occasion. And I went up there and played my thing, and the audience is usually on your side. And they think they have just heard a monumental guitar break, and so the thing to do is clap, and they clap. I tell you, it took years for that to sink in. And when it finally did, I realized that. The audience doesn't know what you want to play. As long as you get up there and play something that's on beat, it has a couple of small little rules that you can follow, you're going to be okay. So here's the rules that I want to show you. First of all, there's a couple of steps to actually improvising. Me, okay? Let's just talk about me. You might be in this stage. Oh, just play something. You get up there and you're supposed to improvise and you are paralyzed. Play something. And you got this thing in your head that you want to play this, and you want to make a great guitar solo. It's just, and you're just paralyzed. You can't even move your fingers. So the first thing you got to do when you're improvising is you got to move your fingers. You got to move your fingers. You got to play notes. I have to practice this. I have to practice literally making my fingers move. So let's just take something with G, okay? Let's take a very basic bluegrass thing. like 9-pound hammer sort of thing, just chord progression. So it's good to know the chords. So your chord progression. G, C, D. So first thing you got to do is make your fingers move. Now, it would be cool if you could get a little bit of the melody, but sometimes you can't do that right away. You can do it later down the line. That is your goal later down the line, to play something that's sort of melodic. But when you are paralyzed, you got to start at step one, and step one is to make your fingers move. So what I would do when I finally sat down and said, I'm going to learn to improvise, and I thought about John Duffy, the mandolin player for the Southern scene. And he said that sometimes he just plays, and he doesn't care about the melody. He doesn't care about anything. He just runs off a stream of notes. And I thought, well, if John Duffy can do that, then I can. So there's my precedent. So you don't always have to follow the melody. It'd be nice if you do, so that people know a song you're playing. But remember, we are talking about you getting started on this. So the first thing you got to do is make your fingers move. So if you're in G, take it out of a chord shape here. These three notes, and do this. That's, do something like that. Now, if you can keep track of how many beats you're playing, it's a 9-pound hammer chord, 4 beats, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 beats. And then if you're going to practice this, you're going to set up a looper, or you're going to think about it, and you're going to think 4 beats. And then you're thinking, here comes the C chord, and it's going to go for 4 beats, let's just say. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to go 4 beats of C. So you think about something here. Okay, here's your C chord. A G, C, and an E. Well, golly, there's a G in there. And on your G thing, you played this. Which is just G, E, D, E. Okay, so what if all you did was change that one note from the D, change it back to a C? 2 beats of G, and now here comes the D chord. There's still a D note. Instead of playing the G, play an F sharp, because there's your D chord. So you could go. So this is a really primitive solo, but it gets your fingers moving. It gets your hands moving, and you're going to vary it later on when you get control of this, and when you're comfortable with doing this and thinking about it on the fly. So, you know, here's what you can do with this little improvised break. Okay? So you play that, and it's not bad, you know. One thing that you can do, as soon as you get to where you can do that without panicking and without sweating bullets of sweat, is vary a little bit. So you start on that and just a hammer onto it. Walk out of it a different way. Okay. So when you got control of that and you're not panicking and dying as you play this, then put one variation in there. Instead of playing that same little lick over and over on the C chord, come up with a little bit different lick on the C. So let's do the G like this. Let's do that. Yeah, I don't care what you do. Here's another 4-beat thing you can do. A G run, basically. So, you know? All right. So as you do that, you get your fingers moving. You're playing anything. And you start then to add in little pieces and make changes on the other chords when you're comfortable with them. So, you know, real quick, like you could change your G lick instead of going like this. Instead of doing that one, you could do this one. You can play Shot Again. So you could do your G like this. Something like that. Or you could do this. So, you know, you get a little stockpile of 4-beat licks and 2-beat licks, and then you just put them together in different ways for your solo. And you need to do this on the fly. You need to not practice them as such. So you need to set up a looper or record yourself or just think about it in your hand. Or maybe you've got a buddy that'll play rhythm for you for an hour. And I mean, play rhythm, get the playing for half an hour and do this on the fly so that you can think, I'm going to do this lick instead of the other lick. And you snap it in there on the fly, substitute that lick. That is practice. That's practice on conceptualizing a lick or phrase and bring it into the game and playing it. And also don't be afraid to pause and stop. So, you know, to give yourself time to think about something. So you could do this. I'll give you an example of that. See, I made a distinct pause right there where I stopped and let the music have a little bit of air, and then I came back with my other little lick right here that I'm making up on the spur of the moment. Okay, so that's step one. I think it's really, 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 really important to know where the key notes are for a chord. Now, this would technically be a triad, so it would be the 3 notes of the chord, but I break it down even further. So I think of a 2-note chord. So what I'm thinking about is in G, I take a G note, and I find the nearest D. Well, there it is right in front of my finger. And where is the nearest B note? Well, it would be that one. So I have 3 notes there. I've got 3 notes that I can go to as a safe note when I'm in the G. So that one, and that one. All right. So I'm going to use 2 notes at one time. I'm only going to think about 2 notes. So let's say the D note. Let's focus on that D note. Well, I know the D is in the G chord. So from that D note, where's the nearest G? Right there. And I'm only focusing on those 2 notes right now. So let's say I do that and I go, where's the nearest B note? Well, it could be open or it could be this note. I like that. So I have myself some safe spots with the nearest surrounding note. Now, you know that your melody in bluegrass is nearly always going to be on the chord tone. The notes that go from main melody note to the next melody note might be a passing note, but your main melody note is going to be somewhere on that chord tone. So this 9-pound hammer is not going to be E. Okay? It's probably going to be G, B, or D. So this 9-pound hammer hammer, hammer, hammer. It's a G. It's a G note, okay? After a while, you might learn by the tension of your voice where that note is. So I'm not going, it's 9-pound hammer. I'm not having to go up that high for that note. So even though my sense of pitch is lousy for singing like that, I just know that in order, when I go, this 9-pound hammer, I'm not going up that high. It's down here. It's 9-pound hammer. It's low. So I get a feel for that over time. And I'm thinking, well, it's kind of a low note, so I'm going to go for the G. Now, to hedge my bets here, I could play a G and a B together. One of those is going to be the melody note, and I might not know at the time because I'm improvising, remember? I haven't had time to work out this break. I'm improvising. So I'm going to hedge my bets here, and I'm going to play two of the low notes. I'm not going to play these two until later in the song, and I'm not going to play these two because I don't think it goes that high. But I know it sounds like it's in that range. So I'm going to hedge my bets on that. So I'm going to go, and I hear it. And I go, okay, there's the melody. I hear the melody. I hear it. I hear the melody there. I'm going for a C chord now. And in order to get to the C chord, I'm thinking that's going to be either E or G because it's still in the same space here. It doesn't go, this 9-pound hammer is a little too heavy. You know, it doesn't make a big jump like some songs would. Riding the night in the high cold wind goes up. Riding the night in the high cold wind. It's a big jump. Boom. 9-pound hammer doesn't do that. It's all kind of in the same space here. So I'm thinking when I go to the C chord, I'm probably not going to jump up into here. I'm probably going to stay down. Maybe there. But I'm probably going to go for those. So in my head, while I'm improvising, I'm thinking of this. And I'm thinking, listening to that melody, thinking, where are those notes? Are they high or are they low? I'm going to play two low notes and I'm going to hedge my bets, and one of them is going to be right. Probably. And if not, it'll sound good. I'm going to go with those two notes. And immediately I hear the melody. Okay, then what does it do? I could feel it going lower. I don't know how much lower. It could go back up. That could pass, you know? That's not too far off. But watch what happens if I'm going to hedge my bets a little bit, I'm going to go for the lower note. Let's say I think that G is the melody note. And I'm not sure. I'm going to hedge my bet with a lower note now. I'm going to go D and G. Rather than G and B. So when I started off, I hedged up. I'm going to hedge down. D and G together. Now I know I have a D chord coming up, so I know they're listening about it's probably going to be an A note because I just think it's going to be an A note, but I'm going to hedge my bets and I'm going to play A and a D together. So I'm going to go. And then a lick to get out of it. Because that just sounds common to me. Could you stay on these two notes? That's fine, especially for an improvisation here. So you can see that in my head, the first time I'm probably going to blow it. My first solo, I might not get all that down, but I'm going to listen to what I'm playing. And I'm going to listen and see, did I hit some melody notes? Yeah, I did. And what's also important here is that I hit the phrasing of the melody. So this is a very, very, very key point. The phrasing of the melody is important because in bluegrass and flatpicking, all songs, there's going to be a lot of notes that are in common with the genre. So in bluegrass, there's a lot of GCD chords, there's songs. Well, you only got so many notes you can play in there. And so what's going to be important here is the phrasing of the song. And so what I mean by that is if you take your guitar like this and you tap it out like a drummer. So this 9-pound hammer is a little too heavy, buddy, for my size, buddy, for my size. It's a lot different from How Mountain Girls Can Love. Riding the night in the high cold wind on the trailer. You see, let's see. Riding the night in the high cold wind on the trail of the old lonesome pine. It's different. Riding the night. Well, first of all, you got that. Riding the night in the high cold wind. So dun 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 on the trail of the old lonesome pine. It's different from this 9-pound hammer is a little too heavy. The phrasing is completely different. So if you play the phrasing of the song, you're going to get a long ways on the thing. So watch what happens if we just play a single note. Let's play 2 notes on the chord. You can hear a 9-pound hammer there. I mean, I can, because I'm singing it in my head. You see? Remember, the audience is on your side. The audience is listening to you play, and in their mind, I guarantee you they're singing 9-pound hammer, and they're not off singing How Mountain Girls Can Love. They're singing 9-pound hammer in their head because they just heard the singer do it. And when you come in and play something as simple as that, the audience works with you on this, and they will hear 9-pound hammer out of that. If you can add just a couple of more melody notes on the fly, you're going to be great. But keep the rhythm of the melody going. So, 9-pound hammer, for instance, I would not do this. It's all 16th notes, 8th notes. It's just a ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, no variation. Although I did put a little bit of emphasis here and there because I can't get away from it. But a much better break for me would be this one. That is so much more 9-pound hammers. And I didn't use very many notes in there, you know. I used the chord notes, so let's use my chord notes here again. There you go. There's a melody for 9-pound hammer. That's certainly good enough for an improvised break that you can then, on your next break, you can vary a little bit more. You can add in a little lick here. You can add a lick here. You can add a lick there. You can vary this. You can vary that. You can play. You can play that sort of thing. Yeah, see, I'm making variations on this all the time. But I'm knowing where my chord tones are. Once I have those chord tones, I'm comfortable in, say, the first 5 frets. I'm going to pretty immediately figure out where those things are up the neck. And so it's pretty easy. It's a good idea. Take one string, a G string. Well, there's a G note. So where on the next string is the nearest B or D? Well, open is a B. And here's a D. So there's my home base right there. You see? Or, let's move up one now. So move up a note here. So where's the next B from the open string? Here. So if you do this, where's the nearest D? Yeah? You could go to here. Where's your nearest G? Well, you don't have a good G here, so that's fine. You just keep that in mind. You got a D here, but we're not ready for that yet. So I like this. G. And there's a lick that you can use. See, just using those notes, making little convoluted little phrases in there, doing it different ways. But if I want to jump up the neck, I know there's a B. So from here now, where's the next D down the line? There's your D. So from that D, where's your nearest G or B? Well, there's a G right here in front of my fingers. So I can go. I mean, that's a good lick, you know? And I just did a little thing there. But I guarantee you I'm basing off of this D note here. I need another note in there somewhere maybe. So I'm just going to drop my finger down one. So it doesn't matter. You could put it up here. You could do whatever you wanted with it. You could go. Yeah, you could do that. Whatever. Like I said, you can leave holes. It's not a bad lick, huh? Hidden price. Now you got something to do to improvise here. So, one more time here. So from that D note, what's next? A B? I've already hit the B. D. So my next choice is a G. And I'm up here. So really this is the 12th fret, so now we're looking at the open string. So forget about that for a second. Just stop right here. So there's your G. You've got this. 4 notes, right? That's 4 beats. All right, next chord is going to be C. So you got a C, an E, and a G. Make a chord. C, E, G. So the G works. There's a C. You could get this E. But I'd stick with this one for now. So that's good. So now you move down the neck to the next nearest note in the chord, and that's going to be, you're looking for a C. You've already got the G. So now you're looking for a C, an E, or maybe another G. And there's a C right there. So where's the nearest E or G from here? It's an E right there. Right under your finger. Great. Now you're going to move down to the next note, which is going to be an E. Because that's a D. And there's an E. So where's your nearest C or G at this point? It's a G. It's the same G that you use for your D chord. So if you're paying attention to that, you could do this. And you're going to stop on that G, 2-note G thing. And the next chord up is a C, so all you got to do really is go. And then you're in a C chord territory. So. There's a little lick. Based upon this, I'm not doing scales here. I'm just kind of linking chord tones together here. So, an E and a G. Went back to that C. And you can do fun things like this too. Let's do that going from G to C. So. It's just exercise to get you to know those notes. And I use that 9-pound hammer, don't I? You ever watching the 9-pound hammer? Oh, there it is, I just showed you that. That's where I came up with that sort of thing. I took the notes that I played up here and I did that pull-off thing on them. Like that. And that was an improvisation that I liked well enough. I did that on the fly one day. And I said, that's good. I like that. And I kept it, incorporated it into my fixed solo canon, if you will. But that's how I came up with that thing. I was just messing around with this, bopping back and forth between the chord tones, going G, C, G, D. Did that, and I said, well, I'm gonna slide into him. I'm sorry. And I thought, well, do I hear anything in there? Do I hear a song? Do I hear something in there? Is that worth developing as a melodic idea? That's an improvisation. I haven't played that. I haven't done that before. Okay, so you get your chord tones down, just 2 of them. Just work on 2 strings. Don't worry about capturing the whole triad of the cage system. We are using the cage system here on this, but you're only using 2 notes of it at first. So you got 2 notes, 2 notes, 2 notes, 2 notes. So where's the D? Same as at C. So G, C, and then G again, C again, D. What else can we get for D? There we go. I use that a lot. I use that on St. Andrew. You see, I use that chord snippet. I use that chord snippet right there for a variation on St. Andrew. And I got it because I was doing that one day. I was going, well, it sounds cool. And I go, that's St. Andrew. St. Andrew. So you spend some time doing this, and then when you're improvising, you got your fingers moving, you're able to move your fingers. That's your step 1. You're able to move your fingers, you're able to play and beat. If you can't do that, then just, my gosh, just do this. And let's see. This 9-pound hammer is a little too heavy for my size. So you can do that to get going on the thing, I wouldn't record it and I wouldn't make a big deal out of it, but if you're trying to get your hands moving, you can most certainly do something like that. So let's build up. Let's put all this together and let's build up a little break for 9-pound hammer. I'm really going to try to play stuff I don't play all the time. I'm going to play something. I'm going to come up with something, okay? So let's start with a really simple, basic thing like that. Let's do a walk-in at least, okay? So you need a lick. Let's take that motif. Let's see. Now, as I'm doing that now, I don't like the high end. I can tell right away that's not quite right. So I'm going to vary that immediately. Let's try something else. Instead of going like that, let's do it like this. And I like that so much better right off the bat. So let's take it simple from there. But I started off doing something. And then as I was going, I go, I don't quite like that. I like this piece, you know. I like that. And I like this. I really like this. I like that. So let's keep that. But I'm going to go from the high end. I'm going to move down. So. I'm always playing rhythm. Now I'm thinking there's one more note in there. I can hear it. So where is it? I'm totally, absolutely making that up. And you can see how I go back to home base, which is this lick. That's home base. Okay? When I get too far off track or something, I go back to home base. And then I kept the melody notes. I varied a little lick here and there, and I'm just using a chord tone as I'm doing that. And there wasn't really anything fancy in there. I used some pull-offs like that, just as a, do they work or not? You know, I don't know. I'm going to play it and see. Did I like that or not? A couple times I hit something, and I thought, well, did I like that? Or maybe I flubbed it, you know? And I know that's kind of what I was trying to do, but not quite. So instead of doing this lick, it occurred to me, what happens if I made the G run out of that? Like that. And then I hit that E note. And I thought, you know, that's the note I'm going to go for in the C chord. So what if I just get on that thing and drone it for a couple of days, you know? Like that. And as the chords change over that, that sounds kind of cool. So. Same thing there. I hit that A note, and I kind of liked the way that A note was sounding against the G chord. And I know it would be a G9 if you were to play it. So it sounded like that. And if you played it over the C, it would give it a minor sound. So that could be it'd be a C6. So just for fun, I thought, what happens if I drone on the A note, you know? Because it's going to go to the D, see? And so it's kind of going to resolve on that D. But I just wanted to see what it sounded like. Did I like the way that sounded or not? I thought it had its use here and there. I might save it for, and I'm going to fire this away in my head. That maybe I'm going to save that for going into the D chord. So maybe I'm going to do the E thing before I go into the C chord. And then I'm going to switch and I'm going to do this A thing before I go to the D chord. So what I'm doing is I'm anticipating the A chord, I'm anticipating the C chord, and then I'm anticipating the D chord. And I thought, how's that sound? I kind of like that as a variation and improvisation. And look at how really easy it is. I'm not even moving my hands anywhere. I could really do it like this. I mean, I can do it like that with one finger and two notes, you know, just to see what would happen. Now, what I would do is if I was improvising over that, and I had a couple of breaks to work with here, especially in a jam session, and I'm developing ideas and I'm practicing, I might start with that sort of simple thing. So. And then I might try to work my fancy stuff around that. That would be my new home base. So I might go then, for instance, like this. I take the G run in there, that G run motif. Can I make that work? Let's see. Let's see. you know, I took that idea and I developed it right there on the fly. What sounds good? What can I do physically? Physically, what can I pull off on this thing on the spur of the moment? Those are improvisations. Now, if you were to come up to me and say, let's play giant steps. Okay, I'm lost on that. Let's play my favorite things. Well, the trouble with that, something like that, is it's got a strong melody, and it's a different melody from bluegrass. So there's a good possibility I'm not going to be able to improvise really super good on that. But I still could use some techniques like that on those harder songs. I could listen again for those notes and the chord notes, and the first thing I want to know, what are the chords to, my favorite things? I don't even know. I know there's string chords. But if you listen to it, it's probably a D. Let's say Lady Be Good, okay? I do know Lady Be Good, I think. That's pan out of that again. Lady Be Good's in G. Okay, it's just something like that, right? Okay, see, that's sort of it off the top of my head, and not having ever played it before ever. So I listen to that and I'm thinking, da, 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 and there, immediately I'm thinking, okay, that's a high note. That's not 9-pound hammer. This 9-pound hammer, it's up there high. And I might not right away what those notes are, but let's just say, I know it's up high, and I know I'm in G. So I'm going to use the same thing. I'm going to use a B and a D. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, for improvising. Well, I'm not expecting to play it perfectly. I'm just playing something to kind of figure out what it is that I might want to play. So, And then I know it goes, da. So what's that note? Well, it's a 4-chord. E. It's either E or high G. So I'm not sure. I'm going to play them both. And then I hear the D coming in. Which is a little bit bluegrassy. But that's okay. I'm a bluegrass guy. Maybe I'll go like that. Okay? Again, the rhythm of the song. I've got the guts to an improvisation right there to Lady Be Good. It took me a couple times to do it, but that's okay, What I might do on something like that, and you can do this on any other song, is while you're playing the rhythm, hit some of those notes just a little bit harder and listen to them. So if you're playing Lady Be Good in G, and you're probably going to use a G6 chord, listen for those notes and think in your head, where's that melody? Da, 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 da. Okay, it's that note, it's the D note. And you can hear it. And you can sing it very softly to yourself, but try to match that note with the singer. So that's going to help me on my first break. So I know on my first break I'm going to go for the D note. And if I was confident, I could go for this note, which would sound really cool. You see, I'm using those notes that I know chord tones, and I'm going to go up the neck here to get that slide, which sounds kind of cool. And I could definitely do that as an immediate improvisation if I paid attention to what it was that I was going to do in the chords. And also, as I went up there, I know that's a D and that's a G note. So right away, I've got a harmony to myself. You see? You could do that right there, huh? You could make that work. So we're adapting that improvisation idea over to something outside of bluegrass. And this is just a start. As you do that, after you played Lady Be Good one time, then the next time you play, you're going to remember, oh, it's in a D. It goes up to the D, and then there's this little triplet measure. Well, maybe you want to work on that triplet measure and get that down a little bit better. So you know it doesn't quite go like this. It's not quite it. It's close, but it's like da-da-dun-dun. You see, there it is. I like to do that. It fits my fingers. So maybe you're going to work on that, on getting that triplet measure a little bit more right, and then then you can make it vary. I think that triplet measure is a key phrase in "Lady Be Good." The rest of it could kind of go dee da dee 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 da, but then you're going to have to go da 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 da. Yeah, that's a key note, So you could noodle around up in there, you could run. And as long as you got that triplet measure, you've hit a key phrase. And so to me, in my hearing, that triplet measure is a key phrase. And maybe I want to get that down a little bit better and smoother. And then the rest of it I can noodle around on a little bit. And I might pick 3 key phrases out of this thing. So the first G, no, I think the E. I think that going up to the E is a key phrase on this song. So... Yeah, that's a key phrase. Yeah, it's there. It's there. All right, so I'm going to find a couple of 3 key phrases. My fifth break, I'm actually working on getting some of those key phrases down a little bit better, and I'm trying to control my notes at this point. At first, I'm just playing to get my fingers moving and to find out where these notes are and what phrases work and what phrases I like. And then maybe on my second break, I'm going to hone those in a little bit better. And I like this one. I'm going to control my notes a little bit better. And believe me, it's wonderful if you can just make a perfect solo on the first. You shouldn't be watching this video. You are done. You're already, beyond this. But this is for people who are trying to learn to improvise. And it may take you 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 times to get honed in on something that you're starting to like. But so what, how long it takes? That's what you're practicing for. You find all kinds of fun things on the way. And if you can file them away in your brain and say, well, that was fun. That sounded good for this. I'm going to keep that. I remember this. And like I said, you're going to fool around with Lady Be Good one time. And then the next time you come back, hopefully you remember some of this stuff and you can start there again. So you're already ahead of the game. By the 10th time that you come back to Lady Be Good, you should have a pretty good idea of what your first break might be, where you can improvise. Where's a good spot for you to put in an improvisational lick. Improvisory. An improvisational lick. Where's a good spot? Because there's spots and tunes where those improvisation licks fit. And then there's spots where they just don't fit. And as you mess around with the song, you'll find that out. So 9-pound hammer, I definitely know where I like to put my improvisatory licks. And I know where I want to stick with my tried and true licks. I don't want to improvise right off the bat because I want 9-pound hammer. I want that. I mean, I want your attention, you know. I want that power. I don't want something. I don't want something weak like that. I want your attention. Then I can mess around with little noodly licks later on. But to me, that's a strong part of that song. So that's going to stay the same almost every time I kick off 9-pound hammer. It's going to be like that. The places where I'm going to vary are sometimes on the C, and definitely at the end of the D. I'm going to do some variations. Even on the little thing where I do the hammer-ons up there. I started off powerful. You see? That's my improvisation area. And there's a bunch of little things I could do in there instead of that. That's my improvisation area. So I could go. And that, I'm going to, after doing that powerful kickoff, I'm going to lay back a little bit. I'm just going to float, and then at the end, I'm going to come in with a powerful lick again. So in my head, that's the movie I'm thinking of. Let's see. I think at one time in there I did this thing. I did that on the D21. I went out like this. You know, I came in with a bang and went out with a bang. Like that. That's what my head was thinking. And I wasn't sure if I was going to like that or not. I never really kind of played that lick before on there. But I used it instead of a G run. Did I like it? Did I not like it? I don't know. It was something different, you know. All right. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking about when I am thinking of an improvisation. I'm thinking here, you know, after I played with the tune a time or two, because a pure improvisation, you're just probably going to survive. And that's just a tune that's pretty similar to 9-pound hammer, and maybe you've heard it. Let's say Blue Ridge Cabin Home. Okay, I don't really play Blue Ridge Cabin Home, but if we're playing Blue Ridge Cabin Home, I'm going to use the exact same trick. So there's a well-beaten path on this old mountain side, and so right away, what's the phrasing on that? There's a well-beaten path on this old mountain side. So da 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 da. As opposed to 9-pound hammer. There's 9-pound hammer, long note. There's no long note yet. So there's a well-beaten path on this old mountain side where I wandered when I was a lad. It's pretty much ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Then it makes some variations. So your chords, I got to know my chords, okay? So there's a... As I'm doing that, I can't sing, but I am going to try to listen for the melody note, like I told you. So, there's a well, you know, where is it? Well, it's up here. I don't think it's quite that high. And it goes beaten path. So, beaten path on this side, and it goes down. So you're going to try to kiss that little bit of a phrasing there. So my first break, I'm thinking about that. Where's the melody note? So. So how do I like that? Well, I thought I started off okay. And then the second time I came back through it, I liked reaching up and grabbing that E note as a precursor into the C chord. So, melody notes there. Yeah. So let's do it again. Let's play through it again. Here's my second break. I get it. I just wasn't thinking about it. So there you go. There's an improvised break for Blue Ridge Cabin Home. And I used all the techniques I just showed you. I started with some of the important chord notes. Immediately in my second time through the song, because I get a front part and I get a back part. So when I went into the back part, I was immediately making a variation there that I heard the first time. And I thought, how would that sound if I did that? And I liked the way that sounded, so I did that. And then the first time through, there's more to it than just that A note. But that sounds it. That F sharp works. And that's the value of knowing, okay, I know there's a D note, I know there's an F sharp right there, and there's a D up here. So there's my whole D chord. But I'm only focusing on two notes at one time, just two. And I started off playing two notes. See? And I knew one of those was a melody note. I wasn't sure which, but as I listened to it, I made up my mind which one it was. And there you go, So, all right, that's a lot of stuff, okay? But I think if you study this and go back again to the basics that I showed you, the first thing you got to do is play. You got to play some notes. Don't worry about anything else. Just worry about playing some notes. And don't even worry about moving your notes. Just stay on the same note if you have to. Stay on one note. And just get your hand moving. Try to get the rhythm of the song going. Try to get that going. Try to get something going. Once you can do that, then start adding into the chord tones. So play two notes on the one chord, and then play two notes that are on the four chord, and then play two notes back on the one chord, and then play two notes on the five chord, and then back to the one chord. And once you get okay at that, then do the same thing, except this time you're going to play two notes on the one chord, two notes on the four chord, and two different notes on the other one chord, and then up on the five chord. Then when you get at that, play it again, and play one note on the one chord, and change to a different set of notes on the one chord. So you're going to go here and here, and there's your two beats, or four beats, whatever. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to switch to the four chord and do the same thing. Two notes over in this area, and two notes over in this area. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then try to go to a different set. Let's go back to this one for the one chord. 1, 2, and then the five chord. 1, 2, 1, and you're out. Okay? So that's a variation. Now, once you start doing that, then you're going to really try, at this point, you're going to really try to get the rhythm of the song. So, da-da-da-da-dun, da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. You're going to try to get the rhythm of the song going on there. You're going to be listening the whole time to do this, and as you go along, you think, wow, that's a good melody note. The melody's over here. And then you're going to start bringing in more and more of the melody. But because you've struggled with this, you've already got variations built in. So if you start off learning the melody exactly correct, then you many times you're stuck at that point. You don't have any variations. You can't, you panic because, I'm getting off the melody. But when you go mess around and then bring it into the melody, you've found out ways to do that, to bring it into the melody. And you've got all these little variations now that are not the exact melody, but they get you into the melody. And you've got tons of built-in variations that you can come back onto. for little pieces of the song too. You got a variation for this piece and a variation for this piece, and this works good over here and that works good. You start building this whole repertoire of licks and variations and phrases and things like that you can do stuff with. That's not the first time I played those phrases on Blue Ridge Cabin Home. They're there. They're phrases. So you got that down. Then your next step is you're going to play something that's pretty melodic right off the bat. You're paying attention to it. You're strumming the chords, and you kind of listen for that. You listen to the singer and maybe very subtly hitting one of those notes to see if that's the right note that the singer's singing. Maybe you're blessed with good pitch on this. I'm not. And I have to test that note against the singer, and I do that very surreptitiously while I'm doing my rhythm. Test that note. I like that note. I only go for 2 or 3 key points in the solo. And then after that, it's free form. Then I can play whatever I want to play, as long as I get back to those key little phrases. And what those key phrases are is up to you, and that's what makes it unique to you as a player. It's what do you hear as the key phrases? I hear these key phrases. You might hear another key phrase, and that's why you have different players on the stage. You see, so everybody hears maybe a different key phrases. But I try to get 2 or 3 of the key phrases, and then my improvisation can blast off into Never Never Land, somewhere in between there, as long as I come back to that phrase. And it's how you come back to it, and where you went, where'd you go, and how'd you get back to it. That's what's interesting about it. And because you've struggled with the song for a long time, you've got a lot of ways to do this and a lot of variations. You've done it on the fly for the most part. You're struggling. You're struggling is on the fly, so you are practicing thinking on your feet. You're practicing thinking on your feet, and believe me, you have got to practice thinking on your feet. It doesn't come natural to me, and so there you go. You do that for a year, and I bet you'll be able to improvise, at least, passively, better than you can now. And that's an improvement. And then after 5 years, then you're going to, what was so hard about that? After 5 years, 10 years of doing this, you'll be able to nail a pretty good break on the first shot on music in your genre. I wouldn't expect you to take a ground-stopping solo on Lady Be Good or Giant Steps or, one of those jazz songs. When you don't play that genre, I wouldn't expect you to take a jaw-dropping solo, but you can make your way through it. But if you were playing in your genre, bluegrass, flatpicking guitar, and you had to take a solo on Blue Ridge Cabin Home, or Sleepy Old John Up the Holler, a song that you've never ever heard before, but it's in your genre, you could probably take a pretty good break off of that first shot, using these techniques that you have practiced and developed over time. All right, look, you're going to need it.